Lindsey Shapiro-Steinberg.
Hi, hello.
First of all, thank you very much for attending the TESOL Macedonia Thrace conference for 2017, and thank you for your wonderful presentation.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
I would like to ask you a couple of questions regarding your presentation. At a time when pedagogy is emphasizing creativity, memory in learning seems like a step back. Is it really?
Well, I think really language teaching can't take place without memory, and I think that I think that was known many years ago, 100 years ago, when English teaching as a foreign language began. There were a lot of methods that were used that employed memory, and then as we moved on, language teaching and learning became more communicative, more creative, and I think it's hugely important that there's a place for that in language teaching. But I also think that we need to be putting the memory more to work in the classroom also. You know, everybody's talking today about learning out of the box, about teaching kids to be able to think out of the box. Well, in order to be able to think out of the box, you have to put something in the box. And I think that by using memory, a lot of memory strategies in class, pushing the working memory very, very hard, it helps students retain a lot of language so that they can be more creative in their language production at a later stage.
So do you think that this memory, as you said, is the thing, this spice that helps the schematic knowledge of someone?
Yes, definitely, because I think that we know that the working memory, it was Alan Bradley who in the 1970s discovered or coined the phrase the working memory, which was a more developed concept for short-term memory, and we know that the working memory interacts with the long-term memory. So the more language we have in our long-term memory, the easier it is for us to, the easier it is for our working memory also to be pushed hard in the class, so that the working memory, the short-term memory, and the working memory is constantly interacting with long-term memory, with lots of language that we already have in our memory, and then it just creates a lot more output. It enables the student to be able to produce more language.
And demonstrate
yes,
knowledge.
absolutely.
Let me put another question, a sub-question here. How do you think that parents can be stakeholders to this?
Well, I think that if kids, one of the things that I talk about in my presentation is first of all memorizing language, and also showing teachers how to use certain activities that really enable the students to retain a lot of language in long-term memory, as I said. And I think that if parents can see that their kids are able to really learn a lot of language, retain it in memory, and then be able to speak and write on a higher level, I think everybody should be very, very satisfied and pleased. I'm from my own experience. I haven't taught in a classroom now for three or four years because I'm in higher education. But I was very, very successful with some of the methods that I'm going to be talking about, and the parents didn't necessarily know what it was that I was doing. They didn't. They just knew that their kids had become better speakers, better writers, better readers, because I was pushing the memory tremendously. And it's not. I understand that parents want a very structured, grammar-oriented curriculum. It doesn't contradict it.
They need to know what the kid does at school, what the teacher.
So this is very structured. It's very, very structured, and it's structured in order to enable as Marissa said yesterday, it's very, very structured in order to be able to get the kids to be more, at the end of the day, to be more original and innovative in their own utterances.
Also, have you seen differences in a good way in their behavior and their attitude?
I think so, because when you're asking kids, when you're giving kids activities that require them to remember, they find it very challenging. They find it very, very exciting. There's even a certain competitive element involved. People like remembering things, so yes, it keeps everybody very on task, and very, very simple ideas as well. It doesn't demand any very extensive preparation. That's why I call my talk less is more, because I think with a little bit of language you can get the students to do a lot more, and also the teachers do less. Yeah, the teachers do less. I think sometimes teachers
TTT time gets
and teachers are expending tremendous energy in creating very, very creative.
And our last question. Isn't it obvious that students are using their memories all the time in learning?
One would think so, but I don't think they are. I think that sometimes I feel that there's actually a little bit too much input on the part of the teacher, on the part of the lesson, and material isn't processed enough. And if we don't teach the kids to use their working memory, to push that working memory to its fullest in the classroom, I don't think they're naturally going to do it. I mean, intuition tells us that that's what we have to do in order to learn language, but I also think it's a skill, or it's an awareness that needs to be developed in class by the teacher.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.